Hi Heather, yeah, the first thing you need to do is actually remove the height and the width from the image. So you see this image right here? See how there's a width and a height applied to it? I hope I can show you that. You need to go into whatever page you added it to, which let's just do the view source. I'm just looking at this. I'm wondering why this is object type content equals index. Maybe I've never seen that before. That's why. You need a space after the quote and the content. You don't need it, but it'd be a good idea. Okay, so let's go find your website name. There it is right there. Open up your website name library page. Get rid of the width and the height. That's the reason why it's getting squished. With responsive design for mobile, that you have to let the image make sure it's the right size, and then you have to let these styles just resize it for you. Okay, and this is where HTML gets a little tricky, because what you're seeing here is actually correct. The Crossline Television Network, okay, that's using an H3 class. An H3 class is basically what's called a block level element, and it will display underneath the item unless you are floating whatever's beside it. Okay, so let me see if I can figure out a way to do this, help you out here. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to suggest at this point, if this was my website, I would not have this as text. I would create the entire Crossline TV and this text right here. I would create that as an image. That's something we can help you out with. I can help you out with that. Then you just replace all of it with a picture. The reason being is when you get to having an image and you want to try and align an H3 tag over top of a piece of text, forget that. It's way too much trouble to try and have all that stuff line up the way you want it. Instead, we take the image, we take the text, we take this line right here, we create one image out of it, you pop it in the page, and then as the page resizes, it all scrolls up and down neatly, and you don't have the headache of trying to deal with 3 individual elements which all have different sizing and spacing properties, right? In the default template, I used an image as part of the background and one that came over top, right? And that's a little bit of the difference right here is this I use a background image, and then I use a just an icon over top. What you're using is an actual image that's not a background image, and it's that the reason for that is instead of it being a background image, it's pushing things out of the way. In this case, I would say, hey, just and also the white is kind of, it'd be a good idea to cut that white out. So if you want, just upload your site to a sandbox next week. I'll download it. I'll tweak the whole top for you if you want, so that you get the text, the logo, and the tagline, and then it all rolls up, because honestly it would be far more efficient and would be less time for me to do that than to actually go through all the styles and figure out how to restyle everything so that it all lines up neatly. Like this here, I'm not sure where you've made the changes and why things aren't lining up the way they originally are. Probably because you're using a image that's a different size. I honestly don't have the answer without actually downloading the site. And what I'll do is I'll take a look at the rest of your page, the rest of the questions as well. It'll be a lot easier for me to do it just to have my hands on it. I can't really answer a whole lot of stuff while I'm just looking at it through a web browser. So create a sandbox. Upload it. I'll send you some information on how to do that. Just upload it to your sandbox. I'll download a copy next week, and then I'll run through the questions and take a look in more detail. Oh, and yeah, I'm not sure if you explained to your web host what the issue was. It's a publishing issue. You've taken all your files, you put them on the server, it's all updated, but an hour and a half later, that's when you see the changes. So I don't know. Typically, whenever we deal with web hosts, the answer is always it's not our fault. That's the basics right there. They may not know why or understand what the problem is. All they know is that your site is online and it's working, and that's really the extent of their support. So yes, I don't know if you mentioned to them or asked them if there's any FTP caching on the server or browser, something like that. But anyways.